Hello, happy December and welcome back to the channel where this week I decided to make 12 Christmas ornaments to go on my Christmas tree. From random animals to pets to characters from shows and movies, let's see what I've made. On to ornament number 1, we have a pair of lovely magpies. Now, these are going to be in orders, but I didn't make them in the order that you'll see. I placed them in this order specifically because I made them in a very strange order. But, like I said to start off, was the magpie. The pair of them actually. My first idea was to do a pair of magpies, and then I went back on myself and said no, I'm just going to do one. But after the first one was finished, I just could not help myself because they just look so cute. So, of course, I also made a second one. You'll see me switching between Super Sculpey Firm, which is this grey one, and Super Sculpey Original, which is the sort of pinkish, fleshy coloured one. And that's because I wanted to do them all out of Firm, but then I ran out halfway through and had to wait until my order came in. But for things like this, I think personally, when you're working on this scale, using something that's firmer, like Super Sculpey Firm, is a lot better, as you can get all of those tiny little details without smushing everything with your giant hands. Magpies are a very significant part of my family. We all love them. We're a bird family, and magpies are no exception to that. So, two for joy, of course, is the symbolism for two magpies, and I think it really works for my family. And we all love having magpies on our tree. The paint job on this one was a lot more difficult than the other ones because of the amount of colours and little details and sort of little cracks and crevices. The other ornaments all were sort of one colour all over, but this had black, white, blue and green, and it just was a bit more time consuming, but that's okay. It actually came out way better than I thought it would. Another thing that I had to take into account was where I was going to hang each ornament from. And on this one, I put the little hoop in the exact right place on one of the feathers, so it hangs perfectly, and you'll see how it hangs later on as well. Now onto the second ornament, which is the worm from the film Labyrinth. Now, right when I began sculpting, within the first few months, I made the worm, much bigger than this, of course, for my mum, as she absolutely loves the film Labyrinth, and looking back at it, my mum swears by the fact that it looks good, but oh my gosh, it is terrifying. And I think this kind of was sort of redemption for me, going back to the worm and making sure that it looks better this time, and my progress over 4 years has definitely improved. I can tell just by looking at this. I'm not going to show you what it looks like what the old one looks like, because, well, stick around. Maybe, subscribe, and in one of my next few videos, very close to the end of the year, you'll see actually what it looks like, because I may or may not be doing a video looking back on every single sculpture I've done since the beginning. Ooh, that's a spoiler. I didn't say that. Anyways, let's keep going back to the worm. Of course, I have to give it a scarf, can't forget that, and right near the end here, just before I baked it, I gave it a lot of texture. You might notice that it's missing its, signature fluffy bits, and that's actually because I'm actually going to do them out of fluffy bits, hence that wire sticking out of the top. That's kind of going to stabilise some of the fluffy bits. Now, painting it, I did lose some of the footage. I painted that blue, and then I painted a darker and lighter blue kind of in the cracks on top of that, but like I said, lost the footage. And other than that, I just went over with this sort of creamy colour and then dry brushed on top of it to make it a little bit lighter. Its eyes are this sort of blood red orange. It's quite intimidating. I also blended out a little bit of yellow in there to give it a sort of glow. And of course, his scarf is red, his pupils are black, and also he needs his fluff. So using some super glue and felt, specifically the kind of felt they use with needle felting, I glue it on in all the places it should be. Ornament number 3 is actually my cat Molly. She is this lovely black fluffy cat, and you might have actually seen her on the channel before. And also back in Halloween I changed the profile picture of the channel to a picture of Molly, as she's a bit more kind of spooky than Tabitha, the other cat. She is a little princess, and I tried to encapsulate that with her pose like I did with the rest of my pets. I like to put their personality, and Molly's the oldest. She's been by my side since I was 5 years old. She is a very old cat now, and she's very posh. Even the way that she walks, she kind of just like gently trots about. It's very, very adorable, and yeah, I tried to make her sit in this sort of little perky pose where she's just sitting there, you know, not doing much, as she's not lazy, but she isn't crazy, you know. We love Molly here. You've probably seen her many, many times if you've watched my other videos. Out of all of the pets that I did, this is sort of in the middle with how kind of strong the design is. Tabitha looks insane. My other pets look okay. Molly looks okay. I think Molly looks okay. I'm not very well versed on doing cats really. I've only done a few cats in my past, but other animals I've done a few more, and that kind of shows with how Molly looks. Her face is a bit off, but yeah, I think she's super cute anyway. She's my old little girl. That's contradictory. After giving her a bunch of her fluff, I bake her and then just paint her. Now, when I first actually created this channel, I was going to have Molly be the mascot, not Tabitha, but you know, considering the fact that she is just fully black, and drawing that would be a bit more difficult than just doing a black blob, I decided to go with Tabitha. I also give her a few grey spots, as she is getting quite old now. She has adorable yellow eyes, and that's pretty much it. Give Molly some love! On to ornament number 4, we have yet another one of my pets. Sorry, I'm cramming them all here. I will spread the other ones out. Harry is a chocolate cocker spaniel. She's similar to Molly in a sense. If Molly were a cat, she would be Harry. If Harry were a... No. You get the gist. If Molly was a dog, she would be Harry. If Harry was a cat, she'd be Molly. But at the same time, she is a little bit of a nutcase sometimes. She was the first dog that we got. Not, you know, not the first animal. She's actually only 5 years old, this one. But we love Harry. This little chocolate cocker. Again, I have not really made dogs in the past. I think I've made, what, 1? Maybe 2? Oh yeah, because I did. Oh yeah. So it's been about 2. I've done about 2 dogs in the past. So this is kind of my 3rd attempt, and I think it went actually okay. Went a bit better than Molly did, at least. And I definitely like the pose. Again, compared to my other dog, Harry is the calmer one. She, you know, she's a bit more posh. I don't really know. I don't really know the right word to say it, because she's not posh, but she's calm. She's calm. That's about it. But yeah, this one had to be a mix of Super Sculpey Firm and Super Sculpey Original, as this was kind of when I was running out and I wanted to do Firm, but then as I was running out I had to switch to the regular stuff, and it was a bit more difficult to use. Of course, like I said, she's a chocolate cocker, so I paint her brown. This brown actually dries a lot darker, which is good, because I was thinking that this is way too bright. Harry's actually quite dark. And she also has a giant white patch running from her chest all the way down her stomach. So I attached that, or not attached it, I painted it on and blended it out with the brown as well. I kind of messed up her eyes, but then I kind of redeemed myself at the end, and with that, Harry's finished. Ornament number 5 is none other than Goostarion. Now, of course, inspired by the character Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3, we have turned this guy into a silly little goose. Now, The worm from Labyrinth was actually one of the 4 ornaments that were from, you know, TV show, movies, games, that kind of thing, and that was meant for my mum. This one is meant for my sister, as she is obsessed with Baldur's Gate, and I can't blame her. It's a wonderful game. I absolutely love it as well. And you know, she also loves Goostarion and Neil Newborn, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is the person who actually voiced Goostarion. So, you know, I decided to make her this silly little goose, give it a little knife, an outfit, some vampire-ish hair, and it was quite difficult as, you know, I've never made a goose before, can't really say I've done that, but I think in the end it came out actually quite well. Doing the legs was probably the hardest part, as they were a bit flimsy, quite thin, and had to retry them about 3 different times. While painting it, I decided for the main clothing to go for this sort of dark bluish purple colour, of course with some red and gold accents on it as well, trying to copy kind of how the main piece of clothing looks in the game. Which is quite difficult, as of course this is a goose and not a person. This one was one of the ones which I couldn't hang as well. There's a little piece of metal wire that you might have noticed by now in the neck of the goose, and when it hangs it kind of skews off to the side a little. It was very difficult trying to get it right, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It could be worse. Could be way, way worse. But yeah, with that said, that's Goostarion done. Ornament number 6 is a adorable bear. Now, I know it's, you know, it's not the most Christmassy thing, but you know, it was chronologically the final thing I made. So I asked, you know, my family, what should be the last thing I make? I was kind of running out of ideas by the 12th, so I then decided to make a bear. And honestly, out of every single thing that I've made, this might be in sort of my top 3. I love the bear. I don't know why. It's just so cute. And I actually kind of wowed myself here, as I've never made a bear before specifically. I have made an owlbear, but I have never made a bear. And I didn't think that it was going to come out too great. I had the pose in mind, which was just kind of, you know, sitting here kind of hunched over, which is cute, but I didn't know how it would come out. And yeah, in the end, it's so cute. It's so much cuter than I imagined, and oh gosh, I just love it. This was back, this was at the point where I had more Super Sculpey firm to use, so using it of course was a lot more helpful than using the regular stuff. I could get in all of those tiny little details, including the little paw pads and separated toes, toe beans, and, you know, the big fluffy ears as well. I did the ears twice, as the first time I made them way too small, but I thought, you know, having kind of bigger ears would look a little bit cuter. Now, if I'm actually thinking about it, this video couldn't have been a better video to kind of end the year off. Of course, it's not the end of the year yet, it's only the start of December, but in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of the end of the year, and I've been sculpting for over 4 years now, and this, you know, kind of marks something new for me. I am not great at doing small things, you know, it's not really something that I do very often, but the fact that I did 12 in a week, tiny little things, of course they're not that tiny, but they're smaller than what I'd usually do, I think they came out pretty well. You know, across my channel I do big things, but this is the small stuff, and I think I kind of surprised myself, and I'm definitely happy with how they came out, especially this little bear. Oh my gosh, it's so adorable. Ornament number 7 is none other than our channel mascot Tabitha herself. This is really weird to say, but this is probably the worst one out of all the pets, which is quite upsetting, as, you know, she does kind of represent the channel, but yeah, I don't know why. Her face looks wrong. This was the second ornament that I did, and it just looks so wrong. I don't know why, and her body as well. But anyways, to justify the pose, Tabitha is a mischievous tabby cat. She is just a bit crazy, so I decided to make her kind of dangling as if she's jumping up to grab something, which kind of encapsulates her personality because she never sits still. And I mean that. I mean it, like, ever. She's just crazy. She just runs around. She does like backflips. I don't know what's up with her. But honestly, I think that's perfect for her being the channel mascot because, I mean, I don't ever shut up. It's kind of similar to Tabitha. She's just throughout the night meowing, meow, 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 and I'm sitting here just not stop talking. I can't even speak right, not stop talking. How do you put up with me? Anyways, now you might have noticed something. This one's a bit more rough than the rest of them, as in the clay itself not having been smoothened out before I did the texture. This was kind of just me rushing things a little bit, and it didn't actually make much of a difference. So I think that's kind of made me learn my lesson about wasting time on smoothing out details which do not need to be smoothened out. I tried my best to do her kind of tabby pattern across her. I don't know how well it came out, but it, you know, at least it resembles Tabby. We definitely love the little kitty. Ornament number 8. We're back at it with the pets. This one is Bella, our other dog. She's the Tabitha of the dogs. Yeah, Bella's a nutcase. Like, we got her kind of I think it was earlier this year or something, and she's just insane. And I did nicely encapsulate that with the pose this time, making her kind of look like she's diving kind of outwards, because she does that. She does. Take her on walks and she will jump. She will just jump over everything. She's insane. Like, genuinely. Just like Tabitha. Doesn't sit still. She is a black and white Cocker Spaniel. Maybe she's a Springer Spaniel. Honestly, I have no idea. She's not my dog. Okay, I know I say she's my dog. She's just the dog in the family. I don't know anything about her because, you know, got her earlier this year. She's not my responsibility. But yeah, we love Bella. She's very goofy but very cute at the same time. Now this was the second dog that I did out of Harry and Bella. She came out probably a bit better than Harry, actually. I really like the pose. And this was actually, I made this at the time where I had completely run out of the firm clay, so I had to make it fully out of the regular stuff, and it was very difficult, but that didn't stop me. I think it actually came out quite well. After adding the white coat, I then go in with the black spots. She has a kind of white line going down her nose, and then kind of the rest of her face is black. She has some kind of larger black spots on her back, and the rest is kind of just slightly spotty, similar to that of a Dalmatian almost, just kind of over the rest of her body. And then that's Bella done. Ornament number 9 is to finish off the pets, being our final pet, Noodle. Yes, quite a basic name for a snake, isn't it? She is our lovely lavender corn snake. Fun fact, she pooed on me the first time I held her. This was difficult. It might not have looked like it, but when I was adding all of this clay glue to the wire, I then attached the clay on top and it just kept coming off. I attached the clay glue to make sure that it doesn't do that, as you know, metal wire is quite smooth. And clay doesn't really like to attach to smooth surfaces, but the clay glue didn't exactly want to help with that today, so it took me quite a while to get it, you know, on there, prepped, and texturing it was not easy either, as it kept sliding around as I kept doing the details. But anyways, I used this little tool, kind of the tip of it, to make those little scaly textures. Not really that scaly texture, but you know, it resembles scales. It doesn't have to be extremely detailed. I also use Cos clay, the bendable clay, for the tongue there, just so that it doesn't snap off later on. I paint her this sort of whitish lavender light colour, kind of mostly over the body, and then also after painting her eyes and her tongue, I added the sort of circle and dot kind of pattern all over the body in a darker purpley sort of colour. And then Noodle's done, and that's all of the pets complete. Don't need to worry anymore. Ornament number 10, the final of the kind of random animals category, is a fox. You might have seen it coming, you know, it's not the most, you know, out there idea for a Christmas ornament. We even have a fox on the tree already. However, I love foxes. They're one of my favourite animals, and I cannot have a kind of, you know, session of creating ornaments without creating a fox. Now, this might come as a surprise considering the way that this fox looks, but I have done many foxes in the past. I've even done a fox skull. But you'd think by now I would be better at doing foxes, but I can just never seem to get their proportions right. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Am I making the body too stubby? Am I making the tail look weird? Am I making the eyes too close together? That's a yes. Definitely, I'm self-aware of that. But, you know, they just never really look right. The one thing that I do really like about this was the pose, though. I had it hanging by its tail, and sort of the rest of the body was kind of dangling down beneath it. I'm sorry, I know this video has already gone on long enough, but I can't resist showing you Molly. She always sits on my lap whenever I'm sculpting, and this is one of the times where I got a cute little video of it. She very much gets in the way because I cannot tuck in my chair fully. Anyways, onto the painting. I don't make the orange very vibrant. I mix orange with a brown to kind of bring down its tone a little bit, make it a bit more of a natural orange. I didn't want it to be too bright, as I, you know, wanted it to kind of look like a little woodland fox. Didn't want it to stand out too much on the tree either. Of course, I also had to make sure that to blend in the white chest and the orange fur, which was definitely very difficult. Ornament number 11. Back to kind of, you know, TV show movie kind of stuff. This one was for my dad. I'm not entirely familiar on the show itself, but it's from a show called Trapdoor. I think it's called Berk. It's just kind of this little blue plasticine blob, I think. But my dad really wanted it, so I made it. And yeah, I have a faint memory of this show for some reason, but I don't really remember watching it, but I kind of do, but I kind of don't, but I kind of remember sometimes seeing clips of it, but it's somewhere in my memory, somewhere, but I just don't really remember it too well. But my dad likes it, so I made it for him. It's very simple. The only, you know, the hardest part was making the hands, but they still came out pretty much perfectly, and of course I also gave him his little smile. Didn't exactly know what pose to do him in, as I don't really know the character very well, but I decided to just kind of go with this sort of pose, which I think I saw on a poster or something. The blue I kind of got wrong, so I had to go over it as well in a slightly different toned blue afterwards, but overall I think this silly little blue blob came out decent. Also, it kind of hangs pretty well as well. Ornament number 12, the final ornament of the bunch. Now, you might have realised there were 4 that were to do with kind of TV show movies that were for my family. This one is for myself. This one is from a game called Stardew Valley. You might be familiar with it. It is an adorable little farming sim and also my favourite game in the world. This is a Junimo holding what's known as a stardrop. Gosh, I love Stardew Valley. I could go on a whole entire rant about it right now, but I'm going to try hold myself back. Never mind, I take it back. Junimos are these adorable little creatures that kind of resemble apples, and a stardrop is something that you get in the game when you complete certain things, or you can buy it at certain points and stuff, and they level you up, and it's great, it's perfect game. Anyways, I've also made something from Stardew Valley in the past, so if you do like Stardew Valley, go check that video out, because it is me making the raccoon stump from the most recent update 1.6. That was crazy. Anyways, after it's baked, I give him his little green colouring. Junimos can actually be a very wide range of colours, but the most common one that you will see is a green one, as it kind of, you know, mostly looks like an apple. Stardrops are also purple, so after I painted it purple, I also then painted it kind of a magenta in the corners. I completely forgot to record it, my bad. And then I went over with black on the eyes, the kind of apple stem, and also his arms and legs. Then, the finishing touch, I give him his little rosy cheeks. And then it's done! Now for the rankings. I will be ranking each one by how well they can hang, and throughout, when I have a little second, I will, you know, say other stuff too. The worm hangs at about a 4 out of 10. It's not the best. It's kind of skewed off to the side. The Junimo, on the other hand, is about a 7, I'd say, because it kind of leans a bit far forward, but it's definitely still cute. Berk is very simple, but hangs pretty well at, I'd say, about an 8-ish. Goostarion, very skewed off to the side, probably a 5. It's not that bad, but it could be worse. The Magpies is a straight 10 out of 10. It is perfect. It's my favourite one out of them all, and it just hangs so nicely. Very, very well done, Mr. Magpie. The fox, I'd say about a 9. I'd say about a 9 for the fox. It's pretty well done, actually. It's nicely holding up. The bear is another 10 out of 10. It hangs so nicely after I've added the string onto it. It is a bit chunky, but definitely great. 10 out of 10. Molly, on the other hand, 6. Unfortunately, she hangs forward a little bit. As it was the first one that I did, I kind of put the metal a bit too far back. Harry is, I'd say, about a 5 actually. A little bit worse than Molly. She hangs also a little bit too far forward, and the string, I think I made it a little bit too short. Bella is another 10 out of 10. She just flies through the air looking perfect. It's just exactly how I imagined it would be. The snake is about an 8. It's kind of off to the side slightly, but other than that, it's pretty okay. And then last but not least, Tabitha. I'd say it hangs at about a 5 out of 10, unfortunately. Looks cute, but it's just a bit too far back pushing for me. Sorry I rambled on a little bit there, but I really do hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think, and also let me know if this inspired you to make your own decorations, especially if they're based off of these ones that I've made, or even characters that you like. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you'd like to see more sculptures in the future, you can also subscribe, and again, I do really appreciate that. It's getting close to the end of the year, and I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. Who knows if I'll get there, probably not, but you know. I hope you have an amazing December and also an amazing end of your year. I'll see you next time, everyone. Bye bye!